I'm gonna be honest with everybody here. I don't know how to approach what happened on Sunday with the Cleveland Browns. I don't really know how to do it. Like it was so bad, to be honest with you. I'm not even upset. Like I should be upset. I should be like angry or ranty or whatever. But honestly, the game just took it out of me to be that mad about that game. Like it took the passion almost out of me by just how lethargic everything looked. And I know that, there are people who are Browns fans who have their scapegoat for whatever is wrong in the season, right? There's some people who think it's everything Odell that messed up the year, or it's all Baker Mayfield, or it's all Joe Woods, or it's all Kevin Stefanski. We all have these individual pillars that we're blaming for a disproportionate amount, when I think the truth of this team is that the entire team has sucked all year. And I don't use that word lightly, and I'm not trying to be over dramatic. I've even allowed myself to like get some distance between this game and when I'm going to upload, so I'm not saying anything like rash or anything like that, but that's just the honest truth of it, right? This team universally just sucks. It wasn't just one player that was holding back this team. The whole team's holding back this team. And you can look at this from every single position group. And even when you look at the Browns offense, right, the only time they can produce is when they have over 100 plus yards in rushing. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous, right? If you have an offense that can't produce unless somebody is running for 125 yards, you don't have an offense, quite frankly. So that needs to be fixed. And that's on Baker Mayfield. That's on Kevin Stefanski. That's on the offensive line. And that's on Alex Van Pelt. I mean, we can complain as much as we want about the play calling, but the execution isn't much better, right? If the play calling were perfect, do you think the score is any different in this game? I don't think so, because the execution was that poor on both sides of the ball. So I just, they played so bad on Sunday. It's hard to diagnose what the issue is. They gave up 45 unanswered points. And some people are going to hear 45 unanswered points and go, oh my God, how did the defense give up 45 points in a row? Or they're going to hear that and go, how did the offense not score once since the fourth quarter, right? Like, how did they not even get a field goal in at that point? And honestly, they're both correct in tandem. Both things are true. Both sides of the ball just completely stunk. And I don't know what else to really say about that, right? I don't know what the suggestions are going to be that are going to make this team better. I don't know what to do with that. Blake Hance is an absolute liability out there at right tackle. Joe Woods is very predictable to a lot of offensive coordinators, and they're able to just go all of these screenplays, all of these, reverses, and make them work because they just know where Joe Woods' defense is going to be and where people are going to be aligned. And we don't have a single difference. Well, we have difference makers, but we don't have enough difference makers to overcome that. Like, the issues with this team are wider than we could have ever imagined at the beginning of the season, quite in part because of just it's all not good right now. Like, nobody is executing well. Let me try to start and break this down on the offensive side of the ball. Now, there's not much to break down here. They got 7 points. They looked actually pretty good on that first drive. And then for the rest of the game, well, Baker threw a pick six, essentially a pick six. It wasn't a pick six technically because it got returned to the 5, and then they ran the ball in the very next play after that to score the 7, but it was a pick six. So Baker threw a pick six. It looked like Josh McDaniels goaded him into a bad throw. Baker took that throw, and honestly, Baker got goaded into a lot of bad throws in this game. It was not a great showing for Baker Mayfield. I think the QBRs for all the quarterbacks are going to be like sub double digits here for the Browns. It was that kind of a game from a quarterback standpoint. So Baker clearly did not play well. So does that reopen the whole, was it Odell, the problem thing? I don't care at this point what was the problem, what was not. What is important is that Baker needs to play better and play more consistently, or else we're going to have to look for different options at quarterback. Like, it's come to that time. We need a dude who's going to, if we're going to pay the dude, right? If you're going to pay the dude, we need the dude that was here last year at the last 6 games where we could lean on that guy, rely on that guy, and trust that guy to win us a game when we didn't deserve to win a game. That was Baker Mayfield last year. This year, complete liability. Like, if he's not being helped by other facets of the game, he's not helping the team win. And if that's the quarterback we're going to get, that's not worth $25 million. It's not worth $10 million. That is worth a franchise tag and finding a way to move on from that situation, if this is what it's going to be like. I hope it's not. I think Baker's a good enough quarterback to where it won't be like that, but that's what it's heading towards, right? If Baker can't carry the team when he's asked to carry the team, what is it worth paying him that much money for? So that's something that's going to be open to question because of what we saw here. I mean, 45 unanswered points, 7 points, and this isn't the first time the offense has put up a very disappointing number. Baker Mayfield has played in every single one of those games where the offense has put up very disappointing outputs. So, you know, if he himself is not going to play well enough to carry the offense when the offense is struggling like this, you have to ask yourself, is that even worth 25, 35, 45, whatever millions of dollars that you would offer him? Because if the answer is no, and this is just what he's going to be for the rest of his career, and what happened at the end of 2020 was the exception and not the rule, then you can't pay that dude. You have to look at other options. I know it's not going to be a popular thing to say to some people. To other people, it's going to be the most popular thing in the world to say. But that's just the reality of the situation. Like, if you're not being a fanboy of Baker Mayfield or a fanboy of Odell or whatever allegiance you have brought up here that's made this whole conversation so toxic and tribal to talk about when we try to just have a realistic conversation about the quarterback position here in Cleveland. The reality is, if he's not playing better than this on a consistent basis, if what we have gotten out of Baker Mayfield in 2021 is what Baker Mayfield is, then that's not good enough to pay anything for. And he's going to become a salvage product for another team because that 7 points, bro. 7 points. Like, I know that you didn't have your 2 starting running backs, but damn, 7 points? 7 points. Like, that's not. There is no set of excuses, circumstances, or whatever you're going to tell me that's going to tell me that the offensive output of 7 points when you had the whole rest of the game to score points after you got that 7 points is acceptable. No way. No way. And there's no way that a performance like this, after multiple other bad offensive performances like this, is going to be something that you can just ignore and not put people on the hot seat for. So, yeah, Baker's on the hot seat. Kevin Stefanski, I mean, this offense is supposed to be his thing. He's got to be looked at, too. Alex Van Pelt's got to be looked at. There have to be some adjustments made because, as Baker said in the post-game press conference, it ain't working. Nothing working. It ain't working. It's just not working. Nothing's working. It's bad. It's bad, right? 7 points. 7 points. Now, again, I try not to overreact because results can be nonlinear in the NFL, right? You can get blown out one game and look ridiculous, and then you could blow a team out the next week and then everything's okay and people aren't worried. But I have seen this offense sputter and just not produce enough this year to where I'm over it, right? We blamed all of this stuff on Odell. They had the 40 points in Cincinnati, and we thought we were done with this, right? Because that was the solution. Getting rid of Odell was the solution. He wasn't running the right routes. He wasn't in the right spots. That was the solution, right? Well, you took him out. He didn't play in this game, and still the same kind of issues that you've had all year in offensive prevail. So it's bigger than Odell, obviously. The issues were not just that simple. There's more to it than that. And again, this is something I tried to talk about a few days ago when I was talking about the whole Odell situation, where it was like it didn't make sense that people thought that, you know, him freelancing or adjusting or whatever you want to call it was the one thing that was throwing this whole offense out. Because if that's the case, then man, like that spells disaster for this offense in certain situations. And if the offense and Baker Mayfield are so reliant on the timing being absolutely perfect in order for any semblance of a passing game to be created, they're in trouble. That's not a winning strategy, and New England just exploited that. Because what did they do? They bumped your wide receivers, they took them off target, they took them off route, and boom, you scored 7 points. So that ain't working. That can't continue to happen. Absolutely unacceptable on the offensive side of the ball. No excuse for that. Like, no excuse. There's no excuse for the defensive side of the ball. I just haven't gotten to the defensive side of the ball, but no excuse for that. Joe Woods not doing himself any favors, man. Really not. Like, this was Joe. I mean, like, everybody got outcoached today. And look, it's Bill Belichick and whatever. And I know Bill Belichick's outcoaching many people, but, you know, this is not like the undefeated 2007 Patriots that we were playing here. This is a 6-4 coming into this game, 5-4 football team that we were playing. So, still doesn't really make it any more excusable. But Joe Woods here, what from my eye happened in that game is that Josh McDaniels had a great game plan versus Joe Woods, knew where Joe Woods was going to be, knew how Joe Woods was going to attack, and exploited all of those things and killed us. Absolutely killed us. This Browns defense killed itself a lot of times because, you know, they got the third down like at least 5 times every drive and just couldn't get off the field on third down. Don't know what the issue is on third down, but figure it out because it's been going on long enough. And honestly, if it's not a player, if it's not a package, then it's the coach. So somebody has to go on that third down equation, right? Like, we can't just keep rolling out these same people doing the same exact thing on third and down, not third and down, but third down, and expect the result to be any different. And we get to third down all the time. No issues getting to third down, which is the most annoying part, right? Because usually if your defense sucks, you don't even get to third down. No, they get to third down all the time. They can't do a single damn thing about it. It don't matter where that third down is. It could be 3rd and 20, 3rd and 15, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 7. It's all butter for the other offense. So that's unacceptable. If third down issues keep persisting, you got to find a solution because honestly, it doesn't matter what you change at this point because a change is better than what's going on here, which is 45 unanswered points. Just an abysmal day. Just an abysmal day for the entire team. And I want to get up here and be angry about it or be upset about it, but it seems bigger than just being angry or being upset, right? Like, this is more or less like, what is going on to where you put up this performance? I understand the game got away from you pretty early after the interception, but dude, this was just a joke. Like, this is unfortunate. And here's the good news, right? Because there's nothing good to glean from that game. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, no, there's nothing good. Not a single good thing to glean from that game. Anybody's trying to tell you some good stuff from that game is lying. There's nothing good to glean from that game. The only good to glean is that Baltimore lost to Miami this week, a 2-7 football team. Pittsburgh tied with the 0-8 Lions. So, and Cincinnati's on the bye week. So theoretically, you didn't lose anything when it came to the North, right? And it's looking like for all of the AFC North teams, I know we had these delusions that like we're going to send 3 or 4 teams to the playoffs in AFC North. It's looking like we're sending one, and whoever wins that division is going to be it. So, because the wild card positioning for the Cleveland Browns is just not it. They've lost too many games versus the AFC to have a real good shot at the wild card. So for the Browns, what they have to do is focus on the division because it's probably the only way into the playoffs. And luckily for them, they're only 1 game back in the division. They have 2 games versus Baltimore coming up. The division is cannibalizing itself. And look, everybody in that division looks pretty human, right? We've seen Cincinnati obviously look human. The Browns look pretty damn human. The Steelers are clearly human. And then the Ravens are human this year too. So nothing's out of reach, right? But what you saw on Sunday don't really inspire any confidence. And if anything, you had that celebration after you beat the Bengals by a big score, and then the Patriots do this to you, and now you're back to where you were after you lost to the Steelers, right? So we're back here. We're back here for 2 weeks ago, wondering what our fate's going to be, wondering if this team has it in them, wondering about the quarterback, wondering about the head coach, wondering about so many of these questions that we had thought we had answered just a week ago and for the last 10 years. So we're going to find out going forward what this locker room has. But honestly, I've said this enough. They have had enough blowouts this year that if a blowout was going to shake them right, it would have happened already. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell anybody about this team. All I know is that they're still in it. They're still very much in it. They're not even close to being out of it. I know people want to take themselves out of it right now, but 5-5, one game behind the first place, you're not out of it. So you got to keep playing and you got to keep balling, because you can still very easily win the division and get a home playoff game this year. But this year's officially a disappointment, I would say. It's an official disappointment, at least for the regular season, right? This is a team that went 11-5 last year. They added the extra game, so going 12-5 would be the same as going 11-5 last year. And you're not going to be able to, more than likely, you're probably not going to be able to match that mark. And we thought this would be a team worthy of exceeding that mark. So this has been a disappointing year. It's been a frustrating year. But the year is still very much in play. There's still very much a lot to play for. And hopefully that this game is more of an aberration than it is the rule. And, they go back next week. They have a tough win they have play the Lions well. And then they go in and play Baltimore. And if they beat Baltimore on Sunday Night Football, after they could hopefully not give the Detroit Lions their first loss, because we can't act like that's not a possibility, right? The Browns could easily lose that game because, they've played like a great team sometimes and like a bad team other times. So we'll see what they do there. But, this is the state of the Browns right now. It's a confusing, it's a sloppy, it's a disappointing mess at this point. And there is nothing that is off the table for this team. Not head coach, not quarterback, not defensive coordinator, nothing. Nobody is off the chopping block. Nobody is off the table when it comes to discussions about how to fix this offense, because it's a mess. Nothing is out of here when it comes to fixing the defense on third down, because it's a mess. So summation for this year of the Cleveland Browns so far, it's a mess. But you're one game out of first place, so, you still got to play, right? You still got a lot to play for. So that's what it is. Hopefully this week is just an aberration, and they go on and put up a strong performance at home versus Detroit. But we'll find out. More coverage is going to be on this team as I go on. But again, guys, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night.